Jake Paul's California mansion has been raided by the FBI, multiple news organizations report. You can see in this aerial footage agents in uniform outside his home in Calabasas.
You know what's funny about your brother? Your brother talks more shit than anybody else on the planet. They're trying to sue people when people talk shit. There's people out there saying they're fake fights, they're fixed.
You know, for me, in my opinion, I think it's scripted a little bit because, you know, of the weight difference, and, you know, Joshua is a former, you know, champion. And also, you know, he's active.
That was not a boxing match. Jake Paul had a very healthy fear for his life while he was in there. He was running away. He was trying to get distance. Then he was trying to step in to win this contest. And then he's trying to get out of the way so that he doesn't get hurt.
Jake Paul, a notorious YouTuber turned boxer, is once again in the heart of a controversy that might end his career. New allegations that Paul staged his high-profile fights, such as the popular Netflix fight against Anthony Joshua, have gone viral on social media. Some even claim that Paul and his brother were arrested for these alleged plots. Paul's validity in the ring has come under intense scrutiny, despite promoters and officials vehemently denying that professional fights can be prearranged without legal repercussions. For someone whose previous legal troubles has included an FBI raid on his Calabasas estate, this is a dramatic turn of events. Many are now wondering if Jake Paul's explosive rise is indeed coming to an end as accusations circulate and his boxing credibility is called into doubt like never before.
Agents have raided the Southern California home of YouTube star Jake Paul. Federal officials say the search was part of an investigation. Wendy Burge is in Calabasas with what we're learning tonight.
Sky 5 was overhead this morning as federal agents entered Jake Paul's Calabasas home located in this gated community off of Mulholland Highway. We counted close to 24 federal agents, some of them in tactical gear, entering the residence. Why they were here and what they were looking for, that remains unclear. The federal search warrant has been sealed and no one is offering.
Long before the most recent arrest reports ever came to light, a number of boxing pundits, former fighters, and promoters have questioned the legitimacy of Jake Paul's battles. Critics contend that Paul's ascension has felt more manufactured than earned due to carefully chosen opponents who are past their prime, late knockdowns, and contracts that are alleged to contain restricted terms.
We saw the Askren fight, we saw these fights that he went into. The Fury one obviously didn't go the way that I thought it was going to go, just because I was so convinced that, like, Jake had these fights fixed, and there's a lot of people who talk about the fights being fixed because it's just the way it is.
Yeah, they tell me that too. They're like, tell me you're not going to take a fall against Paul. Everybody says that to me. I'm like, are you kidding me? You could have paid me all the money in the world.
Although Paul brings a lot of attention and money to boxing, veteran voices in the sport have frequently noted that his bouts frequently avoid actual competitive danger, which feeds suspicions that the results are intended to protect the brand rather than test true skill. Each new controversy doesn't emerge in a vacuum as these doubts accumulate. Rather, it supports a developing narrative that Jake Paul's boxing career has been based more on control, leverage, and optics than on the unpredictable brutality that characterizes the sport.
To me, is what was going to happen to him had he dropped those hands. If I say, Rampage, I'm going to pay you $2 million, right? Let this dude beat you, what you going to do? You're going to feel disrespected, number one. Right? That ain't enough money. For me to do that, I got to be willing to walk away for good. Something like 20-something million where I can invest it and fall off.
Mike Tyson and Jake Paul's fight in the past attracted notice for its drama and intensity. There was a frenzy on the internet due to rumors of a leaked screenplay that suggested the bout between Mike Tyson and Jake Paul was prearranged. Claims that the fight's dramatic moments, such as Tyson's alleged exhaustion leading to Paul's knockout victory, were staged seemed to be supported by purported audio recordings.
In the United States is $1.3 million. Again, that's over the course of the person's entire life. Jake Paul earned 30 times that in one night. People talk about winners and losers, like Jake Paul won.
Jake Paul shared his opinions about his performance in the ring after defeating Mike Tyson. Paul said with assurance, "I didn't get much punched or wounded." His perception that he had controlled the match with little opposition was reinforced by this statement. Paul's comments were applauded by many of his supporters, who saw them as evidence of his talent and willingness to face even legendary opponents. Critics, however, were quick to draw attention to the fight's lack of excitement and danger, claiming that Tyson's performance was unimpressive and raising doubts about the fight's fairness.
Big as the Super Bowl. Big as the what?
Why was Mike wearing assless chaps though? In the
did that moment go viral with his cheeks out?
I don't know. It made my stomach hurt.
I was seeing it
Why didn't he
while
have
I was
underwear
ringside. He had a G-string on, is what he had.
I thought he was completely butt naked.
Nah, he looked like a stripper.
But yeah, biggest live gate, 18.1 millions in U.S. boxing history outside of Las Vegas. A phenomenal night. I'm sorry I didn't knock him out though, guys.
Shut the fuck up. It was
really
crazy when
sorry.
we talked about this. I told him you're gonna say some dumb shit. You did the right thing at the end.
This also applies to the most recent bout with Anthony Joshua. Given Paul and Joshua's drastically different backgrounds, sizes, and levels of experience, many critics have called the match ridiculous. Some have even called the event more spectacle than sport. A former two-time world heavyweight champion who has battled elite competition throughout his career will square off against a YouTuber-turned-boxer with a 12-1 record. Paul is viewed by some as a cash-grab opponent rather than a legitimate battle, and several pundits have characterized the pairing as unbalanced, encouraging rumors that the tournament is more of a spectacle than a sport.
Jake Paul, fake Paul I call him, against Anthony Joshua. Massive unit, two-time world champ, still got a big punch. I think he's mentally fragile at world level if he goes against the big guns because of the knockout, especially the bar knockout when he got fucking splattered. You know what I mean? In round 5, and he got hurt early on, and then he got done, and he's not been in the ring for 13 months.
Yeah.
But can you see a world in which Jake Paul is competitive in this fight?
No.
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 How do you see the fight going if AJ takes it serious?
It'll be over.
Even seasoned onlookers have been taken aback by Jake Paul's level of confidence going into this battle. He radiates confidence in his capacity to take on the assignment and succeed, according to recent commentary. Paul is going into this fight with a strong sense of focus and resolve, in contrast to some of his prior encounters. When monitoring his preparation, analysts note that he has a critical attitude and that his confidence is a result of both mental and physical preparedness. This strategy implies that he is welcoming the chance to establish himself on the international scene rather than undervaluing the significance of taking on a former heavyweight champion.
He's very big. I'm here to shock the world, inspire the next generation. We're in the Heat arena. I'm a big Heat fan. Miami's on fire. This is my first pro fight, was in Miami against Gibb. I'm bringing that same energy here.
However, many seasoned commentators are skeptical of Jake Paul's growing confidence in the boxing world. Paul's notion that he can take on a boxer like Anthony Joshua, according to his detractors, is ridiculous. Paul has not yet faced Joshua, a highly renowned and seasoned heavyweight with years of training, multiple championship battles, and demonstrated endurance.
Natural? No. I can say that with pretty certain confidence in that statement, mainly because, as you heard me mention, I know a lot of the people he trains with, and I have heard things. Now let's give Jake the benefit of the doubt, right? He's able to restrain from the peer pressure that everyone's putting on him to hop on these certain compounds. Then that would be cool, to train natural, do what he needs to do. But the thing is, his body composition has changed so much, his explosiveness, his power, and yes, that comes with training and time. I find it very, very suspicious that for some reason, whenever a drug test gets brought up, for instance, when Fury wanted that in the contract, Jake Paul turns them down. So you should think to yourself, it's probably because he's not natural. Now I want to make it clear, I don't care whether Jake Paul is natural or not. There's so many people that aren't natural that are in combat sports. In fact, Tyron Woodley probably is also not natural. Everyone wants that little edge over their competition, and that's where drugs and anabolics come into play. There's certain compounds that are out there that just increase your explosiveness immensely, your recovery, so that you can stay in the same weight class, which is very important for combat sports, whether that's boxing, UFC, whatever type of combat sport you're doing. So that is why you guys have seen so much improvement from Jake Paul. Of course, he has a great circle around him, great trainers, great coaches, a great regimen, but definitely anabolics play a very fundamental role in that. They allow him to train as hard as he does. They allow him to increase his power and speed. And of course, when you think of those concepts, that's essentially the recipe to...
Paul's appearance and performance, according to some, indicate that he might be dependent on drugs. Real money is being wagered on this battle despite all the controversy. The controversy surrounding the Paul versus Joshua event has also included the betting activity itself. The ongoing discussion regarding whether the matchup is a legitimate athletic event or a spectacle is being fueled by the active betting on outcomes by fans, casual bettors, and even some well-known people.
So do you think it's going to be real, this fight? Do you think it's actually... So you think that Jake Paul...
You couldn't fake it. You really think Anthony Joshua's going to put his whole livelihood on the line for Jake Paul?
No, I don't think he would.
So there you go. It's over when he wants it to be over.
There could be some kind of tacit agreement in the background.
How?
Where they have a handshake.
Then that's illegal. You're going to jail.
Exactly, it's illegal. That's what I was going to say.
So you can't.
Because it's not an exhibition.
No, it's a fight.
So we're
and people are betting on it. Big amounts of money.
So we're watching this. I'm flying out there next week to Miami to watch it. So I'm going out there. He's laughing. I'm getting some old. So it's all good. But it's like Jake Paul against Anthony Joshua. 6 foot. Was he 6'6"?
About that.
Was he 16? What's 245 pounds?
He can't be a pound over 245.
What's that in stone?
The best part, just on 17 stone or just under.
So Jake lost to Tommy Fury, and that's the one everyone keeps on. Do you think he's improved much since Tommy Fury?
Yeah, but do I think he's improved enough to be competitive? Unless I close my eyes and Josh is completely shot to bits, no.
Yeah, and so is the potential that Jake Paul, like, I know you keep saying no, I know, you're right, but is there a world in which you see Jake Paul?
Boxers who competed against Jake Paul faced criticism as rumors of a leaked script spread, with some accusing him of jeopardizing his legacy. Supporters conjectured that Tyson sold himself to Paul, ruining his legendary career by taking part in a fight that was thought to be staged.
Versus Paul script was fully leaked all the way down to the bow Jake did in round 8. This profile on X posted it anonymously one day before the fight, explaining everything before deleting it today. A fake script has been going around that said Mike Tyson will get KO'd in round 5, but that one was clearly not real or an older script. This will give you goosebumps. I'm just going to read you parts, but if you want to see the full script, I'll show you it at the end. Round 1, opening bell rings and Tyson is showing flashes of his old form, but slower than his prime. Round 2, Tyson comes alive, but his breathing grows heavier. Round 3, Paul gains confidence and lands a sharp right that stuns Tyson. That's exactly what happened. Then round 4 and 5, the fatigue sets in strong for Tyson and Jake is landing a bunch of hits. Round 6, Jake showboats, which is the tongue thing he did here. Then on round 7, Jake plays it safe to not KO Mike. And round 8 wins by decision and bows at the end. This is crazy. Subscribe if you want to read it yourself.
During the Jake Paul fights, observers noticed strange interactions, including Tyson supposedly whispering instructions to Paul and referees seemingly signaling Paul to avoid certain movements. Suspicions of writing and orchestrated choreography were heightened by these incidents. The CEO of Matchroom Boxing has openly refuted claims that the fight between Anthony Joshua and Jake Paul is staged or manipulated. Hearn has publicly refuted suspicions of scripting by emphasizing that, should the fight take place, it would be a legitimate professional fight under Queensberry regulations rather than an exhibition or a pre-written production.
Scripted. Mike Tyson repeatedly bit his boxing glove throughout the fight. When fights are scripted, fighters do weird gestures to signal that they're hurt. It's very possible Mike Tyson was biting on his glove to tell Jake Paul to calm down. Now, if that's not enough proof that this fight was scripted, in the middle of the fight, Mike Tyson is literally talking to Jake Paul while they are clinching. And in the middle of the fight, the referee told Jake Paul to stop measuring. For those of you who don't know, in boxing terms, measuring means that you're setting up for a knockout by seeing how far your opponent is with jab. The referee literally told Jake Paul to stop measuring, and before the fight, we see Mike Tyson and Jake Paul whispering stuff to each other. Mike Tyson biting on his gloves, whispering secrets to Jake Paul in the middle of the fight, and the referee literally telling Jake Paul to stop measuring during the fight. That should be enough proof that...
Frank Smith's warning that the fight between Anthony Joshua and Jake Paul is more about theatrics than sport has caused further controversy. He maintained that the fight will not be a true boxing match, but rather a show designed for amusement rather than a serious test of talent. Smith claimed that rather than maintaining boxing's competitive character, what spectators are receiving is intended to shock and sell. He raised questions about how real or competitive the battle would be by portraying it as serious entertainment. Smith added that he is still optimistic about the possibility of a fight between Fury and Joshua. He called the fight the largest fight to be made, and expressed hope that it will eventually happen by 2026. However, Smith warned that boxing is full of talk and that not all planned matches actually happen, suggesting that even though the idea thrills fans, there are still a lot of logistical and contractual obstacles to overcome.
ruining his legacy just by taking this fight. Fans don't respect what he's done in the sport already. He's an Olympic gold medalist, 2-time unified heavyweight champion of the world. I sort of sympathize with him because I feel like if he doesn't beat him quicker than he beat Francis, people are just going to write it off. I'll ask you bluntly, have there been any discussions about there's an agreement, there's a secret contract? Have any of those discussions happened regarding this fight? It's an 8-round professional fight. AJ wouldn't have taken it if that was the stance it had to be, if it was an exhibition, if it was you've got to hold him up for 8 rounds. It wouldn't suit Anthony Joshua. Anthony Joshua is going in there to knock out Jake Paul.
Sorry, just to silence all the doubters here. You know, a lot of people saying this can't be real. You know, Anthony Joshua going in there, it must be an exhibition, or Anthony Joshua's going to it's going to be choreographed, and Anthony's going to carry him through a couple of rounds. I know Anthony Joshua. Just to silence all those doubters, he's going to go in there to do a job, right?
It's 100% real. It's 100% real. People asking why is it 8 rounds, not 10? Because I don't think it goes past the first round. So it's, you know, regardless, it's quite irrelevant. I think he steps across the ring and knocks him out. You know, but we're in for a bit of fun, and everyone's going to be tuning in.
It might not be fun for Jake Paul. I mean, it's serious entertainment, is it?
Yeah, 100%. You know, look, I agree with you. I accept Jake Paul is absolutely mental for doing this, and I don't think he quite realises. I think he's got people around him who actually are saying, you know, Anthony Joshua's chinny. He said it in interviews. It's quite wild, but you know, if that's the world he wants to live in, you'll find out on December 19th.
And Frank, to finish with, the plan is still sometime in 2026, AJ against Tyson Fury. And Turki Al-Sheikh's working on that, is he?
That's the fight we want to make. That's the fight we want to see. Look, we're all guilty of doing a lot of talking over the years and that not happening. So I don't want to talk too much, but that is definitely what we want to see in 2026. It's one of the biggest fights in the sport, and I'm very hopeful.
Eddie Hearn, Joshua's promoter, has also explicitly addressed the allegations of scripting, albeit his answers have been seen as contentious in and of themselves. Hearn made a joke about Joshua's plan to emerge and soon knock Paul out being the only script. He added that the statement was intended to emphasize the gravity of the fight and refute the notion of predetermined results. However, the necessity to openly mock and refute these assertions shows how far the rumors have spread among fans and in the media.
It's obviously scripted, isn't it? I'm like, no. 1, that's illegal. I mean, this is a professional contest. 2, we would never sign up to anything that's going to make AJ look bad or devalue him, lose rounds, go loads of rounds.
Do you think there's any world in which AJ pulls back, though?
No, absolutely. He couldn't do that as a fighter. He would be incapable of going in there and holding back. I mean, I think the only thing that's a bit harsh is if Anthony Joshua doesn't knock him out in the first round, he should be ashamed of himself. Like, fine, give us 2, or 3. Because if Jake does move, he can look after himself. It's not like he's just going to get one shot round the arm.
Please share your thoughts in the comments section below. Do you believe that Jake Paul's career is finally coming to an end? Or is this just another incident he will leave behind?